Hey, what's up, everybody? It's JR. I know you were expecting to listen to Keith. It's Hot or Not's episode, but I'm here randomly just with some of the guys on the team from Professional Triers, and we just wanted to talk to you guys a little bit. Before we do that, let me introduce who we got. We got the super producer, the guy who makes us sound so much better, right below me in my Zoom feed right now with his American flag shirt on. Very important. Carl.
That's right. This is Carl. Hi, everybody. Hope you're going to have a good week and have a good July 4th. And we're also here with the host of Hot or Not, Mr. Keith Pfeffer.
Hey, thanks, Carl. I'm glad to be here. And, hey, look forward to that 4th of July.
No, that's right. And remember, we're here, and July 4th is a time for barbecues and to enjoy the beach, enjoy the park, enjoy your families. But it's also time to celebrate America.
We're also joined here by Brian. How you doing, Brian?
Good, Keith. How you doing?
Great. Are you looking forward to 4th of July?
Sure. Always are. Celebrate the birth of the nation and enjoy a little fireworks with the family and friends.
But the important part is not to lose your finger.
Don't lose any fingers. That's always the bummer part of it.
You need those to push pixels.
or you get your brother in town and make him push pixels while he's around.
Yeah, whatever works, right? Vinny's here, but not physically here. But you'll hear him in Keith's episode because ever since Tony said he didn't know who Vinny was, he's tried really hard to be on every single Professional Trier episode. So you'll hear him in a minute. We interrupted the intro to this show because we wanted to wish everybody a good 4th of July and make sure you don't lose any of your fingers because you're going to need them to put your displays up. So, you guys have anything else to say?
What am I supposed to say?
Doesn't really matter. We're done anyway, so you can.
Yeah, we're done. So.
Okay.
He's got to get the fireball.
Yeah. So you want to say something about having a good 4th of July, Vinny?
You know, I want to wish everybody a happy 4th of July, happy Independence Day. You got to remember this is the birthday of our nation. This is the day Will Smith saved us from the aliens. So many good memories from today. And I got to tell everybody, go out there, 4th of July, give it 110%. Always give 100% unless you're donating blood. And God bless America.
All right, we're going to go now, but everybody have a safe 4th of July, and make sure you like and comment on all the Professional Trier episodes on Apple because that's the only one that really cares if we get ratings or comments. So do that stuff and enjoy Keith's show. I already listened to it, and it's freaking awesome.
The Professional Triers and the Holiday Lighting Think Tank have teamed up with Cool Tees to provide you, our VIP listeners, with some cool, awesome, and one-of-a-kind Professional Triers gear, including T-shirts, brew mugs, can coolies, coffee mugs, and, of course, the one and only Think Tank flannel shirt made famous by none other than our own JR. So go to HLTTgear.com. That's HLTTgear.com and get your Professional Triers gear today.
New, old, forgotten. Get the scope on products with Hot or Not with Keith Pfeffer. Keith Pfeffer Puffer. Santa's a little drunk and may have had something to smoke. Keith, take it away. Keith Pfeffer Puffer Pecker. If I said Pecker.
All right. Welcome to Hot or Not, a show about hot new products and, the not so hot tech as well. I'm your host, Keith Pfeffer, and, like every episode, I'm super excited about this one, and we're going to be trying something new. That's just kind of what we do at the Professional Triers. We're always trying something new. And today I actually have a co-host. I'm happily and successfully joined by Vinny Bittinger. How you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm great. You give me a better intro than JR ever gives.
Well, I try, man. I try. Well, I got to work on the compliments, but
well, I like to poke the bear a little.
Yeah. Well, hey, man. So I'm also really excited. We have a guest here, and his name is Jason Rasmussen.
What?
Oh my God. Okay, well, let's start that again.
We just practiced it.
my last name. I've heard every single pronouncement, so you're not going to surprise me.
It's not like my name's that easy either.
Well, yeah, not like I got a simple one.
All right.
There's even arguments within my own family how to properly pronounce it.
Well, thank you for joining us, Jason. So today we're going to be doing kind of a roundtable discussion, 6 months out from Christmas. I don't know. How are you guys feeling 6 months out? You guys prepared?
Yeah, no, I'm not prepared. I got a newborn here, so she's been taking all my, but she will grow up and love the lights.
Exactly. How about you, Vinny?
I actually feel good. I feel good. This is about the time of year that I started last year. No, actually, this is a little bit early. I started after I got back from Expo last year, actually physically building, and we made everything on time. And last year we built a lot more stuff than we're building this year. Most of our stuff we're adding this year is kind of pre-built stuff. So I'm feeling very good. I'm actually ahead a little bit I got the shop cleaned out after the winters and stuff. So I'm ready to start building soon. So that's nice.
Yeah, I do this whole thing like around April, kind of shut down for like a month and a half, and then around like April or so, I write the whole game plan for every single month, these goals I try to achieve, but this year I know I'm just going to be adding more things than I ever did before. That's just how it is. You have to anticipate those things. But this episode, I really want to do a roundtable discussion. Basically, we have some tools that from Jason's SoCal Mini presentation that we want some products that we want to bring to people's attention, some things maybe you weren't aware of or you may have forgotten that help you with the setup period. So basically, everyone's going to have a few minutes to talk about a tool, and we're just going to go down the line. Who wants to start off here? I'm going to flip a coin really quick, and Jason, start us off.
Okay, let's see what we have here. Starting off with some small tools. And the first small tool that I have on my list is a step-down drill bit, because there are many people who want to, push pixels into items, and they need to have the proper drill bit. The nice thing about a step-down drill bit is you can, drill different levels until you get the exact level you want. So it's very versatile in that way. And it'll go through plastic, metal, wood.
It's funny that you call it a step down bit because I've only ever known it as a step up bit.
Oh.
As it steps up in size.
That is true. But it's like I've seen it labeled on sites as a step down. Anyways, it still does the same thing.
Yeah.
If we argue about this, if I put it into Amazon, is that how it's going to be the decider?
Yeah. Let's see what's going to. Might as well get it. Right.
I got to spell bit correctly.
No.
Yeah. See, if I put step up bit, it comes up.
If you put a step down bit,
what happens?
Yeah.
What happens if we put in step down? Oh, it also comes up.
No, okay. Yeah. Well, so the choices are there.
We'll call it a tie.
Yeah, but yeah, I like it. I use it to make actually my drill into PVC pipe basically, and then push pixels into it for my house outlines. That's my preferred method.
Yeah, it's also really excellent for drilling into boxes. So if you're going to put like cables through boxes, you can have just a small cable, or you can drill a big hole and you can put different adapters in them. So it's very, very versatile.
What do you got for us, Vinny?
I'm looking around my shop at some of the tools that I have laying around as like, oh yeah, that's the quick one. Like I want to grab that one because that's one of my more favorite tools. And the first one that jumps to mind that I have laying around here, you guys can see my screen. So give me the name of what you call this. What I call this is a universal wire stripper.
Yeah, it's supposedly it's called the self-adjusting wire stripper.
Okay.
The one you have there, I'm going to butcher the company name, but it's Irwin. Vice strips.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
yep, Irwin.
We discussed this yesterday, but I think products like that, it might cost you $30, but that's one of those things you should spend $30 for, because that's one of those tools that, once you have it, you know how great it is to have.
Yeah, this is definitely one of those ones where you want to get the name brand. I'm sure there's other ones that can come really close to it, but the quality is just so good on these. And when you're stripping multiple wires, different gauges of wires, you just throw that in, just squeeze it down. It'll strip it perfectly. And even with pixels, since you have like 3 wires in there, you can stick in all 3 wires, squeeze it, and it'll strip all 3 wires perfectly. You may need to do just a little bit of adjustment on the tension, but it works every single time, and these are a lifesaver.
Absolutely, because it just adjusts to small size, big size wires. It does stuff, and especially like the outer sheathing where you traditionally would use a knife blade to score it first and then strip that off separately. You can just do the whole thing with this.
Yeah, at my presentation when I showed these, I mean, people just kind of like, oh my gosh, I have a pair of those and they're terrible. I'm like, no, you got to get the good ones.
Yes.
And then for the people who have never used them before, I kid you not, I've had multiple people post videos on Facebook of them stripping wires with this, saying how wonderful it is.
Mm-hmm. No, it's
so to give an example of the people that are listening. If you are searching on Amazon for it, the Irwin Vice Grip self-adjusting wire strippers run $18. I would also say ones I would trust would be the Klein. Klein is an excellent name brand for anything electrical. They run $20 compared to the traditional wire strippers that we normally think of are more in the 14.
Yeah. The only downside to this wire stripper is it does have crimpers on it, but the crimpers are pretty bad. So don't use it for crimping. Use it for wire strip. When we go to crimping, going into the next one, the traditional wire crimper, stripper, kind of all-in-one that you see almost everywhere, like at Harbor Freight for even $5, it's going to be fine.
Yeah, that was my next choice, was the wire crimpers. I mean, I use all the time. The next thing I'm talking about is connection. The red one, which will have all these, this whole presentation, as well as links to where you can download this, will be in the show notes for this podcast.
The key to the wire crimping tool, especially this very common one, when you see it, you're like, oh, I've seen that everywhere. The key is the crimping is at the tip. And they're small and thin. So when you're working on pixels, you can really get in there and crimp it. As we're like with the Irwin Vice Grips and other things that have crimpers, they're either in the handle or they're really fat, and you just can't get around that for the pixel.
Yeah, exactly.
So kind of on that same note, when we're talking, and not so much about crimpers, but the strippers, I'm an electrician by trade, and I've taken a tool that I have from my job to this hobby, which is electrician scissors. And honestly, when I'm setting up, I bet 90% of the things that I do with wire, I can do with this one tool. I use it for everything: cutting, stripping, shearing, everything I'd want to do with a wire, I can almost do with this one tool, and I don't have to jump around between different tools. And it's a small enough tool. I keep it in my pocket. It has a separate little pouch you can stick on it and not be bulky. If you look up on Amazon, just electrician's scissors, you'll find some. I would stick to a name brand as well, like Klein, especially if you get some with the ergonomic handles. Makes it easier. They run about $25. They are a lifesaver. There's almost nothing you can't do with them.
Going on to the next tool, what do you got for us next, Jason?
Soldering iron. So you will probably find yourself soldering in this hobby. Actually, I find myself more crimping than soldering, but it really depends on what kind of props you're making. But you do need a decent soldering iron. You don't have to get anything super fancy, but you just pick up your average Weller soldering iron, or if you have one of the old Radio Shack ones from the old days. I mean, I still have my Radio Shack soldering iron. It'll do just fine.
I don't use the soldering iron as much as I used to, unless I'm using it on a PCB board or something like that. I'm finding myself using less and less of a soldering iron, but it's key to have a good station or something.
Yeah, I found for this hobby, it was much easier to buy, and we'll get into it, the crimp tubes where you can seal them off instead of doing the manual soldering and heat shrink.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'm in the same exact boat. I find my soldering iron sitting collecting dust more times than not, but it's still that tool that you need to have in your shop.
So, Vinny, what do you got next for us?
Well, the heat shrink tubing, which is kind of the next thing on your list that I'll talk about with. I buy it actually in a reel. You can get it from Amazon in a heat shrink tubing reel, and I don't even want to guess how many feet are on this. 50 feet maybe. And it's just one big long reel. It might be more than 50 feet now that I look at it. And you can just cut off what you need. But just cut off what you need, put it on your wires first before you solder, and then you got plenty.
Now, Vinny, on the heat shrink tubing for outdoor application, do you use the marine grade if you do any soldering?
I believe that overkill is underrated. So whenever possible, use the better quality, the better stuff. So the marine grade